I never signed up to be my family's emergency fund. No one asked. No one had to. It was just understood that if something went wrong, I'd fix it. That if someone forgot a bill, I'd pay it. If there was a financial fire, I'd grab the extinguisher. They smiled, I crunched the numbers. They booked vacations, I checked my bank app twice a day like a woman waiting for the ground to open beneath her. I'm Mallory Green, 34. Single, no kids. One savings account that's been bleeding out in slow motion for the better part of 5 years. I've been called responsible, so often it's practically my middle name. At work, I'm dependable. With friends, I'm loyal. In my family, I'm the reliable one, the one who doesn't crack, doesn't cry, doesn't question. But the truth? I've been cracking for a long time. It starts on a Sunday. My sister Nina planned a birthday brunch for our mother, 58 and still chain-smoking menthols like it's 1997. We're at some overpriced rooftop spot downtown. Everything is pastel and overpriced, from the French toast, flights to the mimosas with edible flowers floating on top. I show up wearing a blouse I bought off a clearance rack. One I'd ironed the night before just so it looked like it cost more than $12. Nina arrives late, swanning in with oversized sunglasses and a clutch that probably cost more than my monthly grocery budget. She kisses both cheeks like she's in Cannes instead of Cleveland. Mal, she says like she hasn't dodged my texts all week. God, you look so practical. She means plain, functional, predictable. I give her a tight smile and hand Mom her gift, a modest spa certificate and a handwritten card. Nina's gift, a designer handbag and a matching keychain shaped like a damn swan. I know the logo, I know what it costs. I wanted to spoil you a little, Nina says, flipping her hair. With what money? I almost ask, but I already know. They toast with imported champagne. Nina orders truffle fries for the table and doesn't touch them. Mom laughs at something she read on Facebook. I smile through it all, chewing slowly, calculating what this meal would have cost me. I shouldn't have come, but part of me keeps showing up out of habit, like a scratched record stuck on a guilt loop. Later that day, after everyone's hugged and posted their fam is everything selfies, we end up back at my parents' house. The house. The one I've been pouring $2,300 into every month for the last 3 years, quietly covering the mortgage, the HOA fees, the rising utility bills. All under the pretense of helping out, just until we're stable again. They promised it was temporary. They always promise. Mom says she'll start contributing when the catering business picks up. Dad swears he's just between gigs. Nina claims she's budgeting, but somehow that includes gel nails and flying to Cholum for her mental health. I believed them. God help me, I believed them. That night, while they're all asleep, I go looking for a flashlight. The kitchen drawer's empty, so I head into the garage. That's when I see the stack of boxes, Amazon packaging, broken furniture, things they meant to donate months ago. The light above the workbench flickers like a bad omen. Something nudges me, maybe instinct, maybe just the kind of intuition you grow when you've spent years cleaning up after other people's messes. I start going through the boxes. Not fast, not desperate, just methodical, and that's where I find it. A thin folder wedged between tax paperwork and an unopened package labeled bulk collagen powder. It's stamped with a bank logo I recognize. Inside, a trail of letters, cold, typed, formal, foreclosure notices. Not one, not two, a stack, dated 3 years back, which wouldn't matter except I didn't start helping them until 2.5 years ago. Meaning, they were already drowning when they pulled me in, already lost in the tide when they handed me an anchor and smiled. My heart doesn't break. It hardens like concrete setting. They lied for years. Not just about the money, but about the nature of the crisis. They didn't fall behind. They weren't unlucky or blindsided. They were reckless, dishonest, and worst of all, they let me think I was saving them when the house was already on fire. I stand there for a long time, my fingers tracing the edge of that first notice. It's dated March 18th. I remember that day. I was juggling freelance gigs and skipping dinners so I could help them through a rough patch. That same month, Nina bought a new phone and posted about her manifestation retreat in Sedona. Rough patch, my ass. The truth stares up at me in black and white. They used me. Willingly, consistently. And without an ounce of remorse, I don't cry, that surprises me. I think maybe part of me always knew. The garage is quiet, the only sound the hum of the old fridge and the faint whistle of wind through a cracked window. I sit on the concrete floor for a minute just breathing. In, out, calm, detached, then I get up. I place the folder back where I found it, because I want them to wonder later. I want them to feel the weight of not knowing what I saw, what I know, what I'm going to do. I walk out, flicking off the utility light behind me. And that's it. That's the moment something in me shifts. Not breaks, not bends, shifts. That night, I don't go home. I don't even call a friend. I check into a cheap hotel near the interstate, just a beige room with blackout curtains and the kind of carpet that smells faintly of cleaning fluid. I lie on the bed, fully dressed, and stare at the ceiling. My phone buzzes once, a text from Nina. Great seeing you today. Can you Venmo me for mom's cake? I don't respond. Instead, I open my banking app. I look at my transaction history for the past 3 years. I scroll and scroll, my thumb aching from the repetition. Each withdrawal, each payment to the mortgage company, each automatic bill I paid just to keep things steady. I start calculating $2,300 a month, 36 months, roughly $83,000, but it wasn't just that. There were the groceries, the car repairs, the bailouts, the gift cards and birthday dinners and emergency funds that never got paid back. $140,000. That's what I land on roughly, give or take 100. But what's 100 when you've lost years of compound interest? Years of opportunity? They didn't just take my money, they took my time, my stability, my peace. And I gave it, willingly. That's what guts me the most. By morning, I've decided something. I'm done. No fanfare, no dramatic confrontation, no tearful speech about how I can't keep doing this. They don't deserve my hurt. They don't even deserve my anger. They deserve my absence. So I vanish, not in some dramatic middle of the night disappearance, but quietly, like vapor. I reroute my mail, freeze all shared accounts, cancel the automatic payments. I notify my landlord I won't be renewing my lease. I don't tell anyone where I'm going, I just go. No Instagram posts, no goodbye brunches, no sentimental text messages. I take my savings, what's left of it, and find a modest apartment in a city 2 hours away. I start fresh, clean, alone, and for the first time in years, my money stays mine. My phone lights up with texts the first week. Mom, hey sweetie, just wondering if the gas bill didn't go through. Nina, where are you? Can't reach you on email either. Dad, call when you can, need to talk. I ignore them all. I'm not angry anymore. I'm focused. This isn't revenge, it's realignment. They took advantage of the version of me who needed to be needed. The one who thought love meant sacrifice, who thought family meant obligation. But that version of me is gone. And what comes next? That's going to be on my terms. I take everything, every bank statement, loan summary, old check stub I've been hoarding like a pack rat with a savior complex, and dump them in front of Annika. We sit cross-legged on the floor of my new apartment, which still smells faintly like cardboard and fresh paint. The windows are cracked to let in air, the kind that smells like car exhaust and possibility. It's late, probably close to midnight, and we're surrounded by paper piles lit by a single floor lamp that buzzes occasionally, like it's straining to illuminate the truth with us. Annika, who's been my best friend since we were 15, and figured out we both hated group projects for the same reason. No one ever pulled their weight, starts sorting with clinical precision. She's an auditor by trade, which means she has the patience of a saint and the memory of an elephant. She doesn't ask questions at first, she just works. This is wild, she mutters, tapping her nail against a receipt from 2 years ago. Gas, groceries, a check I wrote for $1,100 labeled family emergency. Which emergency? She asks, eyebrows raised. I think that was when Mom said the water heater broke. She lifts another sheet. 3 days later, Nina posted a boomerang of herself clinking glasses in Santorini. I exhale through my nose, not surprised, not anymore. We keep going. There's a rhythm to the unearthing. Annika draws lines between dates and decisions, and it starts to feel like we're reconstructing a heist. Only the thieves wore smiles and shared my last name. Here, she says, pushing 2 documents toward me. The month you doubled your help, Nina flew first class. Eyelash extensions, designer luggage. I nod. She said she needed a mental reset. She needed a new sponsor, Annika mutters. We keep going. The time I paid off their overdue credit card, nearly 5 grand, I remember crying about it after work in my car. That same month, Dad posted a photo of himself at a wine tasting with a caption about getting in early on the next big thing. That wine startup, I say, and Annika smirks. Never existed. I found the LLC. It's inactive. He probably just bought a few bottles and tried to make it sound like an investment. And Mom's little bonuses. Mal, Annika says softly, they're all you. Every gift, every unexpected treat they bragged about to friends, pretending they'd worked overtime or had a stroke of luck. It was me, my money, my future. This isn't just irresponsible, Annika says finally. This is financial abuse. The words hang in the air like fog. Dense, undeniable, I swallow. I let them. You trusted them, she corrects. Same thing I want to say but don't. There's no point in arguing when the evidence is in front of us in black and white. The truth is in the numbers. The betrayal is itemized. That night, after Annika leaves, I sit in the quiet for a long time. I pour myself a glass of wine cheap, the kind that tastes like melted berries and regret, and let the silence settle. I don't cry. I think I'm past that part now. A few nights later, my phone lights up. It's Dad. I let it ring. Once, twice, three times, then I answer. His voice is lower than usual, all soft edges and hesitation, that tone he uses when he knows he's about to ask for something. Hey, kiddo. Hi. How you doing? I'm okay, I say. Busy. Yeah, I bet. He clears his throat. Listen, I didn't want to bother you, but your brother's working on this new stock venture. He's got a buddy who's doing well in crypto and Dad, I interrupt, calm but firm, we need to talk about the house. There's a pause. Just a beat, but it's heavy. Click. He hangs up, I stare at the screen. Coward, I don't call him back, I don't text. I don't rage or spiral. I just sit there, phone still in my hand, and realize something with crystal clarity. They never thought I'd stop. That's what all of this was built on, not love, not trust, expectation, dependency, entitlement. They never thought I'd stop, but I have. And now I'm done playing defense. The next morning, I file a formal request for property records through the county clerk's office. I want to know everything: who owns the house, how much is owed, what's been paid, and more importantly, what hasn't. I find the old mortgage statements buried in an email archive. I request the last 5 years of payment histories. I piece it together like a forensic puzzle, tapping back into the version of me that used to obsess over budgets and spreadsheets like they were lifelines. Turns out I'm still good at this. Better than I remembered. 2 weeks later, I have a full picture. The house was nearly lost, twice. Foreclosure proceedings were initiated, paused, then restarted. Both times, I stepped in just in time to stop the bleeding. And each time, they took my help and then lied about it. I also find out that the title is murky. The deed is still in my parents' names, but there's a lien from a short-term loan Dad took out and never paid off. I track down the company, call their office. The woman on the line, Elaine, sounds exhausted and sympathetic when she says, "We've tried to reach him for months." I believe it, I say. "We're planning to file a judgment soon," she adds. Unless something changes. It hits me then how close they are to losing everything, and how far they let me go to delay it. I thank Elaine, hang up, stare at my own reflection in the black screen of my laptop. I didn't just keep them afloat, I was the raft. And now I get to decide whether they sink. Annika suggests a legal consult. I agree. We meet with a lawyer named Jordan who reviews the files with the sort of professional detachment that's somehow both comforting and terrifying. This is a textbook pattern, Jordan says, flipping through my documents. Misappropriation, coercive tactics, and zero repayment structure. If you wanted to file for restitution. I don't, I cut in. He raises an eyebrow. I shake my head. I don't want my money back, not from them. I just want to make sure they can't do it again. To me, to Colin, to anyone. Colin's in on it, Annika mutters. Maybe, I reply, but the doubt gnaws at me. Or maybe he's just the next pawn. A week passes, then another. I don't reach out to them. I stop checking Nina's social media. I mute their threads. The space feels strange at first, but soon it feels like relief. One night, I walk past a mirror and catch my own expression, still, steady. I look like someone who knows the difference between helping and enabling, like someone who's building boundaries from the same bones that used to bend for everyone else. This isn't revenge, this is recovery. And I'm just getting started. They arrive one by one, just as I knew they would. Nina is first, stepping into my apartment as if it were a rented set for her latest social campaign. She's wearing oversized sunglasses indoors, trailed by a wiry guy holding a camera and a ring light. She air kisses my cheek like we're strangers doing a press junket. You said big news, she says, slipping off her coat and scanning the room. I brought Jackson, my content strategist slash cameraman. Hope that's cool. It's fine, I say, smiling just enough to not seem hostile. You'll want it documented. Colin shows up next, fresh from whatever overpriced co-working space he's decided to claim as his office. He's in a quarter zip and all birds, trying hard to pull off that venture capitalist look, but the wrinkle in his collar and the nervous way he checks his phone betray him. Is this a family intervention? He jokes, half laughing, pulling me in for a side hug. Because I swear the crypto market's just temporarily tanked. Something like that, I say. Then comes Mom. beaming like she's walking into a charity gala. She's dressed head to toe in peach-toned silk, dragging two Pilates friends who look like they were promised hors d'oeuvres and a networking opportunity. She greets everyone with affected warmth, kissing Nina's hand, fluffing Colin's collar. "This is so fun, darling," she says, setting down a gifted purse I know she didn't pay for. "I love when we do these little family things. Like normal people." "Sure," I say, motioning for them all to take their seats. "Just a cozy little get-together." I serve a light meal, nothing too memorable. Charcuterie, truffle popcorn, tiny lamb meatballs on skewers. Champagne flows freely, and for the first 20 minutes, they bask in the illusion that this is just another Mallory-hosted soiree where their names are on the guest list but not the bill. They chatter, they gossip, they toast to vague things. To Nina's brand collab with that swimwear line. To Colin's pitch deck going viral. To Mom's Pilates milestone. What is it now? 100 reformer sessions. The clink of crystal fills the air like confetti. They're high on their own delusions. Then I dim the lights. The projector hums to life. The first image flickers onto the wall, dated, grainy, official. A foreclosure notice from 3 years ago, long before my first dime ever touched their mortgage. There's silence at first, just the soft fizz of bubbles in glasses. Click next slide. A bank statement showing a massive equity withdrawal. The account name, Green Family Trust. The signature at the bottom, my father's. Click, a log of purchases. A round-trip flight to Mykonos. A payment to a boutique hotel in Palm Springs. A credit card charge labeled Wellness Retreat Deposit. All made during months they called emergencies. I pace the room slowly, deliberately. My heels click against the floor like a metronome of reckoning. "This," I say, gesturing to the wall, "is where your mortgage stood when I started paying." Click, "This is what Colin withdrew behind your backs. Crypto scheme. Never told anyone." Click, "And here are all of your purchases during every emergency you begged me to help fix." Nina stiffens, her mouth slightly parted. She looks like someone just unplugged her ring light. Colin shakes his head, hands up like I've caught him in a prank. "Mal, come on, this feels like a setup. You're making it sound like we." "I'm making it sound like facts," I cut in. "That's because they are facts." Mom's hand flies to her chest. A soft gasp escapes like she's just learned she's being written out of a will. I thought we were here to reconnect. This is cruel, Mallory." "This is overdue," I say. The Pilates friends quietly collect their handbags and murmur polite goodbyes. They know better than to get in the middle of family bloodletting. Nina is already texting someone, probably trying to figure out how to spin this into a redemption arc. "This is brand damage," she snaps, standing. "I have partnerships lined up. Do you know what it looks like if this kind of drama leaks?" "It'll look like the truth," I say, sipping the champagne I paid for. "And maybe next time, read the room before screwing over the one person who kept you afloat." She storms into the kitchen, muttering about NDAs and defamation. Colin sits there, stunned, like he's waiting for someone to tell him the twist is fake. "I'm cutting you off," I say calmly. "No more payments, no more favors, and if you so much as try to guilt-trip me, I'll go public with everything." "Wait, Mallory," he starts, his voice cracking with an unearned desperation. "You can't just, what about the house?" "That's your problem now," I say. I pull out my phone and open the banking app. A few taps, a quick face scan, and just like that, cancel autopay. "Best of luck with the bills," I say, raising my glass and finishing the last sip. Mom begins crying in earnest now, shoulders trembling, mascara trailing. It's theatrical as always. Like she's mourning the end of a dynasty instead of the end of a scam. "I trusted you," she says, voice cracking. "No, you used me," I reply. "And I let you. That part's on me, but this part?" I gesture around the room. "This part is all you." I walk out to the patio and let the door shut behind me. The air is cool, crisp, and finally quiet. Through the glass, I see them, frozen in place, confused, stunned, exposed, and I feel it, clarity. Like something heavy just fell off me, or maybe it's the weight of obligation finally evaporating. They'll be fine, or they won't. Either way, I'm done being their net. I'm not their emergency fund anymore. I'm my own rescue. And for the first time in years, I don't owe anyone a damn thing. I don't look back. Not when the first call lights up my phone in the middle of the night. Not when the group chat, Green Fam Forever, explodes with frantic apologies and half-hearted explanations. I mute it, then I delete it. Then, one by one, I block every number I recognize and a few I suspect. Nina's public apology video drops within 24 hours. It's the usual influencer word salad. Growth, journey, unexpected challenges, and some nonsense about protecting her mental wellness during this difficult time. Her comment section turns faster than I expected. A sponsorship disappears, then another. By the time she posts a crying selfie from a healing retreat, she's hemorrhaging followers. I'd feel bad if I hadn't funded half the lifestyle she just burned down. Colin's tech startup turns to smoke within the week. Apparently, it was never more than a domain name and some mocked up wireframes. Once word gets out that the funding came from family sources, his angel investors pull out like rats from a sinking yacht. His LinkedIn quietly changes to freelance consultant. His startup site? Gone. Just a 404 error and the faint echo of his bravado. Dad is the last to break. He shows up at my building unannounced, red eyed, trembling, wearing a windbreaker he's probably had since I was in high school. There's a moment, just one, where I catch a flicker of the man who used to hold my hand through thunderstorms. But it's gone just as fast, buried under years of choices I didn't make. Eli answers the door. "You're not welcome here," he says, calm as ever. He doesn't raise his voice, doesn't slam the door. Just stands firm, like a wall you can't charm your way through. Dad hesitates, breath catching like he wants to say something, maybe everything. But in the end, he just nods once, small and defeated, and walks back to the elevator without looking up. I watch from the hallway mirror out of sight. Eli turns and catches my eye in the reflection. "You okay?" I nod. It's not a lie. It's not entirely the truth either. But it's enough for now. Annika and I meet over Thai takeout the next night. She brings forms. I bring the folder we once laid out on my living room floor like a crime scene. We fill out the financial exploitation complaint together. Meticulously, professionally, but with the kind of quiet rage only years of betrayal can sharpen. There's no guarantee of what it'll do or if it'll stick, but it matters that we're naming it. That I'm naming it. It's financial abuse. It always was. The house, their house, the one I bled into month after month, sells within 10 days. Below market value. I get the alert from a real estate site I forgot to unsubscribe from. I stare at the photo for a long moment. The chipped white siding, the driveway that used to scrape my bumper, the porch light that never worked right. I wonder what the new owners will do with the garage, if they'll ever notice the dent where I slammed the door the night I found those bank letters. The country club revokes mom's membership. Some quiet scandal involving unpaid dues and misconduct unbecoming. Her Pilates friends stop liking her posts. She quietly disables comments. I hear she's trying yoga now. Reinvention, maybe, or just desperation. Do I celebrate? No, but I do exhale. It's like my lungs forgot what a full breath felt like. Like I've been holding tension in my shoulders for so long, I didn't know it could leave. Eli and I take long walks at dusk. He doesn't ask too many questions. Just holds my hand when the wind picks up and brings coffee with the exact right amount of oat milk. Sometimes he reads aloud from his favorite essays. Sometimes we walk in silence, just the sound of gravel under our shoes and the click of our shared peace. "I missed this version of you," he says one night as we watch the sunset from the edge of the park. "The one that smiles with her eyes." "She was buried," I reply, "but she didn't die." A week later, a message lands in my inbox from a finance podcast I listen to on my morning runs. "I've been following the thread you posted," the host writes. "I think you have a story people need to hear. You don't know how many people live your story." But I do. I've met them in the mirror. In bathroom stalls with clenched fists and red eyes. In spreadsheets that tell a story no one else wants to see. In women who carry the weight of everyone else's mistakes and still apologize when they collapse under it. I know them because I was them. I write back, I say yes. I sit down with a mic in front of me and tell the whole truth. Every ugly corner of it, the host is gracious. She doesn't flinch when I talk about guilt or when I confess that I miss them, sometimes in weird flashes like a phantom limb. She doesn't push when I tear up describing that dinner. She just nods, lets the silence breathe, and says, "You're not alone." When the episode airs, my inbox fills. Not with hate, not with shame, but with stories, hundreds of them. People who have been siphoned dry by siblings, parents, spouses. People who gave and gave and gave until there was nothing left but resentment and overdraft fees. They thank me. I thank them back. And for the first time in a long time, I feel whole. Not fixed, not healed, but no longer breaking. The lake doesn't ask anything of me. That's what I notice first when I arrive at Annika's cabin. It's quiet in a way I forgot was possible. No buzzing phones, no beeping alarms, just water, wind, and the occasional call of a loon in the distance. The first night, I sleep for 13 hours straight and wake up with tear-streaked cheeks and a ribcage that finally knows what it means to rest. I spend most mornings on the deck, curled in a fleece blanket with a mug of tea cooling in my hands. Annika left a stack of journals and a note. No pressure, but sometimes writing makes it real. She's right, of course, she usually is. The first few pages are hesitant, like I'm relearning how to use a voice I buried beneath bank transfers and empty reassurances. But eventually, it flows. I write about the weight I carried. The way they always said, just this once, like it hadn't already happened a dozen times. I write about being the responsible one, the backbone, the one who couldn't afford to fall apart because everyone else already had. The podcast episode goes viral faster than I expect. Within days, my inbox is a flood of DMs and emails, some raw, some heartbreaking, all familiar. A teacher from Arizona writes, I took on a second job to pay off my brother's gambling debts. I haven't bought a new pair of shoes in 3 years. A single mom from Ohio. My parents borrowed my credit for a car they defaulted on. I'm still digging out. A nurse in Chicago. They told me I was selfish when I stopped sending money, but I was drowning too. I read every message, I cry at most of them. Then I start responding, one by one, just a sentence or two, something to let them know they're seen. That what happened to them wasn't their fault. That it's okay to walk away even when the guilt feels louder than logic. Eli comes up on the weekends, bringing groceries and smiles and arms that know how to hold without squeezing too tight. We cook together, simple meals, lots of laughing, quiet moments that fill the cracks inside me. He listens when I ramble. He holds space when I go quiet. One night, while we sit on the dock watching the moon trail over the water, he says, You know none of this broke you. They chipped at you for years, but you're still here. That matters. I lean my head on his shoulder. I didn't think anyone would still want to be close to me after all this. I don't want to be close to the version of you who kept sacrificing herself, he says gently. I want this one, the whole one. I don't reply right away, I just breathe, let it land. He wants the version of me I barely let exist. Later, while researching home loans, I'm finally ready, I can feel it in my bones. I get a text from an unknown number. I recognize it immediately. Nina, tell them the stories are lies, you ruined everything. There's no hello, no pretense of remorse, just fury like she's the victim. I stare at it for a long second, then I press and hold, delete. Another ping, this time it's mom. We didn't mean to hurt you. But they did, over and over. When they let me shoulder their burdens without question. When they laughed at my worn shoes while sipping champagne. When they watched me sink and offered nothing but guilt and gaslighting in return. It wasn't a mistake. It was a choice. I don't respond. I close the message, close the tab on home loans, and walk down to the lake instead. I let the cool wind graze my cheeks. I feel the soft ground under my bare feet. This is what peace feels like. This is what choice feels like mine for once. And for now, that's enough. Months pass like pages turning in a book I finally chose to stop reading. I don't keep tabs, not really. But news still finds its way to me. It always does in a town like ours. Everyone knows someone who knows someone. And eventually, that someone sends a message or drops a hint in a casual coffee shop chat. This time, it comes from a girl I barely knew in high school, Lacey something, who runs into me at the farmer's market. She's polite, overly so, the way people are when they've heard a version of your story but don't quite know which parts are safe to say out loud. We talk about sourdough starters and how the town's been changing so fast. And then, just as she picks up her bouquet of sunflowers, she leans in like she's sharing a secret. Your mom's yoga group uses your name as like a cautionary tale now. Don't do a Mallory, that's what they say. She laughs, light and awkward, expecting me to laugh too, but I don't. The phrase hits me like a gust of wind off the lake, sharp, cold, absurd. Don't do a Mallory. Meaning, don't trust too much, don't give too much, don't expect anything back. The irony nearly knocks the breath out of me. I smile because I've learned how to smile when people say things that would have gutted me a year ago. Thanks for telling me, I say softly, and she walks off, relieved, sunflower stems bobbing with each step. I carry the moment with me through the afternoon. I roll it around in my head while I unpack groceries and fold laundry. I think about all the versions of me that would have shattered hearing that. The girl who stayed up late calculating budgets to make sure their mortgage wouldn't fall through. The woman who skipped vacations and ignored red flags and swallowed rage because they're family. But I'm not her anymore. I'm not their cautionary tale. I'm their consequence, and I'm okay with that. Back home, my actual home, not the one I drained myself to preserve, I stand on the porch of the tiny house Eli and I now share. The paint still drying on the shutters we chose together. There's a herb garden out front that I planted with my own 2 hands. And inside, on the kitchen shelf, is a framed photo of me, Annika, and Eli from the lake. The day I said aloud for the first time, I think I'm really free. Eli steps behind me, wrapping his arms around my waist like he always does when he wants to pull me back into the present. I lean into him, letting the sun melt into the horizon as birds chatter in the trees. He presses his chin to my shoulder. You okay? I nod, better than okay. And I mean it, because for the first time in my life, there's no ledger. No silent transaction hiding behind a family dinner. No fear of saying no. No weight of being the reliable one without being seen. There's just this: a quiet porch, a man who shows up, and the knowledge that walking away didn't break me. It rebuilt me. I think about that yoga circle, about the whispered warnings they pass around like incense. Don't do a Mallory. Maybe they mean it as a punchline. But to me, it's a badge. Because what they don't understand is that I didn't walk away from family. I walked toward myself. And I finally understand something I wish I'd learned sooner. Family should never be a debt you owe for being dependable. It should be love, mutual, real, and free. And if it's not, you have every right to leave the table. That's not betrayal. That's survival. That's healing. That's doing a Mallory.